This
talk
conference will
about
now be recorded.
today we will talk about the installation part. All things today will go through the each and everything. So hopefully, have you guys are downloaded the files which I told you yesterday?
Yes, I
Okay,
have
fine.
downloaded.
Yeah, we
Okay, fine.
downloaded.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
We downloaded.
today we will discuss about whatever things we discussed yesterday, that is completely theory, and we just discussed the Docker. So Docker is what is the Docker and what is the importance of the Docker, and what is the difference between virtual machine and Docker. That is we just discussed briefly about that one, and also we discuss in the Docker how to start a container, all things. And yesterday we just started some discuss how to create a virtual machine and Ubuntu virtual machine, how to create. And there is some website which you can download the virtual box images, and you can download the related Ubuntu VDI file or images files, everything will download. So today I will start very basic things. So I think we are good to start right now. So let me share my the screen. So today
Sir,
is agenda.
Saurav.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
sorry
go
to
ahead.
interrupt. I just have a quick question. Is I'm trying to access this VM from my mobile extern, and I'm not. It says that connection refused, or it is not able to connect. So
Okay,
do we
fine.
need to?
Okay, so because I'll start with very basic things. Okay, so that
Yeah.
those steps will help you for to connect the VM IP in SSS or PuTTY or whatsoever. Okay, so
Yeah.
let us start guys first. So the first thing is this is completely online session, so you should know and you should confident for installation part. There are different types of installation which is available, and we will go through each and every installation process. We're not going to skip anything. So whichever you guys comfortable, you can follow that one. Okay, so first thing, so I'm just sharing my desktop right now. Hopefully everyone able to see my screen. And you can see I have already downloaded VirtualBox Manager, which is already running right now. And I'll just shut down. These are the VM power of this VM. Okay, so I do not have anything. So forget about, I do not have any virtual machine which is available. And all of you have a good experience how to install Oracle VirtualBox. So you just need to be download and it's anyone can install packages on Windows machine, right? So they just download that packages and just click on next finish, and the VirtualBox is already installation is already done. So what is next right now? What exactly I have to do right now? So I told you yesterday for to practice Docker, minimum you required one virtual machine is required, right? So initially, if you have one virtual machine, if you hand over one virtual machine to the customer, they will deploy only one application. But right now, we will bring one virtual machine and install Docker. So Docker will help me, and Docker will help you to install multiple applications. That means you can deploy multiple application or container in within single virtual machine. So why it's possible? Because each container will get a individual IP address. So those things we will go through that details, very details. So let us start first of all how to launch a the VM. For example, first what I'll do, and I'm just discuss the Ubuntu part, because in your exam there will be Ubuntu virtual machine is there, and everybody has a good experience with Linux. So let us start with Ubuntu. Ubuntu also Linux flavor only guys, and you can also install CentOS machine, or you can also install any different Red Hat machine, Red Hat Linux also you can install, or you can install Ubuntu also. So let us start with very basic things. We will start with Ubuntu. Okay. So what I'll do now, I told you yesterday to download a images from if you wanted to download. So there's a BG box, OS boxes is a link is there, which I told you to download a virtual box, the images. This will download a OS boxes images. So I have downloaded OS boxes images, and which I kept it. Let me go back to the picture, and if I go to document, go to VDI. So right now I have downloaded one 18.4 version, the Ubuntu version, and which is the size is 400 MB, because this is the server part. I didn't download a desktop part. So let us start with the desktop first of all. So what I'll do, let me go back to download. So if I see that desktop, okay, this is how much. Okay, this is what this is the CentOS images which I have downloaded. Let me see where the file is. Okay, I think this one. So this is one image there I have downloaded through same only. I just copy this one. I'll put it one specific location. So for me, it's easy to download. I'll just copy inside the VDI. Okay, fine.
Can you please show actually from OS box which image we have to download it for this one?
You can download anything. So you just go back to virtual box images and click on of Ubuntu. So let me go back to the Ubuntu. That's very last. Okay, here Ubuntu is there. So I click here the virtual box VDA images, and I just downloaded this one 18.4.3.
So is it a desktop version or is it server version?
This is server version.
Okay, so where we can
Sorry,
get the desktop version?
this is the desktop version. 1.5 is the desktop version. And if you wanted to go to, I'll show you the. So this is the desktop version I have downloaded, which is the desktop version. So let's start with the desktop. Then we will go through the server version. Okay.
So the only difference between desktop and the server with GUI and without GUI, right?
Exactly. So if you download a desktop version, which is called, you will get a graphical user interface, GUI interface, right?
Okay.
And which will take a lot of if you have 8 GB RAM or 4 GB RAM. So if you go for the desktop version, it will take little time to bring up your virtual machine. Okay. So but let's start with the desktop first of all. So I have downloaded these files. Then what I'll do, guys, after downloaded, so this is my desktop version which I have downloaded 1.5 GB, and I'll just do here right click. I'll say the extract here. So
Saurabh,
let
one
me,
question.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, for Mac, any specific thing? Because yeah, I downloaded the 18.4 and other previous versions, other versions also, 19 also. But while
Okay.
extracting, it downloads the 7z file, .7z file, and while extracting, it stops in between actually.
No. You make sure extract it not stop. I think this will work in Mac as well. Have you tried? Have you
Mm.
downloaded successfully? Because when you
Yes,
download
download
it
is done, and I tried 18, 19, and now I'm doing 20 also. I'll let me try 20 and all. But for by halfway through, it gives an error saying. I can give you the exact error if you want, but it
okay. So
stopped.
I'll finish that one. Then we will see it remotely. Okay, don't worry.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
fine.
so guys, now let us say I'm just moving to my Oracle VirtualBox. So what I'll do now here, initially I'll just click on here, click new, right? Because I want to create a new VirtualBox. So I'll just mention what is the name of virtual machine you want to give. So you can give any name. So for example, I just mention over here like Docker desktop. Okay. and the type should be Linux operating system because this is a OS or Ubuntu, and you just need to be version select call here Ubuntu. So you just click, scroll down little, Ubuntu will be there, and you have to select Ubuntu 64-bit only. Click. After you select, just click next here now, and you can give a GB, 2 GB, that's fine, fair enough, and click next. Right now he's asking, do you want to create hard disks now, or I'll say okay, I don't want to, I have VDI file, so I'll just browse over here, go back to click on add from which location you have the VDI file, so click add. Go back to my, I'll go to VDI location 64-bit, so I have two, so this is what the desktop version, so I'll just click here, desktop. This, are you getting this kind of error? So I think this is the correct one. So it's not successfully downloaded. Okay.
Yeah, I get the same error actually.
So this error usually you will get if during your downloading, if any file is missing, so you have to remove everything and you have to restart again. But what I'll do now, I'll just delete this one, back over here. So this is a version which I have downloaded. So I'll just create one folder. Let me try. So I'll just mention document from where you want to go back. You select here, extract into that location. Meanwhile, I'll see any other file which I have downloaded. This is only files. Have you installed Vagrant on Windows machine, or Vagrant also have you installed? Or you guys
Yes,
did try?
I have
Have
installed it.
installed?
Yes.
Great. I'll say click over here, go back. Let me see the VDI Ubuntu. Try with this version. Okay, so file opening. Okay.
Saurabh, can you create a new file, new machine?
Yeah,
Is it
one second.
new machine you're trying to create?
Yeah, new machine only.
Because you need to give a different name for the new machine if you're trying to create.
So I'm just selecting 2 GB, and so this file is already. Okay, so let me meanwhile downloading this file, I'll go for the desktop version which I have downloaded. I'll say here 64-bit. This one I'm trying, which is a desktop version, and click create. So I just use because the graphical the desktop version which is I think I need to download again. So I just use the server version which I have downloaded. I will send you the link to download the server version. So after download, guys, anything. So as you know, whenever you create any,
So is it Santosh, is it the Vagrant or which one?
not the Vagrant, it's a CLI only. So I have selected. So let me show you that. So I have the selected image will be. I have selected this one, Ubuntu server. Ubuntu server means say how much Ubuntu server, how much GB this one? This is I think. Let me try. Yeah, this one is the
Can you
server.
please show us the link from OS boxes itself? Then we can download the same image.
Yeah, so let me try whether it is working or not for me. Okay, then I'll send you the link. So that's fine. So then this is what I just given a name called classroom-docker, and here if you go to right click setting. So when you click on the setting, by default, whenever you create a virtual machine in Oracle VirtualBox, if you click on the network, first it will be the default network adapter will be netting will be there. So what you need to do, you should select the bridge adapter. So the bridge adapter is nothing but only I have explained yesterday. The bridge adapter is nothing but your base machine Wi-Fi will be connected your internet. That means same IP range you will get. But by default, if you not select a bridge adapter, if you select a netting, you cannot connect from your base machine to you can't do SSH, right? So let me connect here bridge adapter, and I just click on OK. So after that, you just need to start right now. So I'll just double click. So if I do double click, so
can you show me once again? Sorry.
Okay.
Can you show me? Can you show me once again?
Simply you just go to right click on setting, and click network. And here you have to select a bridge adapter. Before it was netting was there. So you need to select a bridge adapter. After you select a bridge adapter, click OK. Hopefully everyone clear. So whenever you create a VM in Oracle VirtualBox, create a VM and select a bridge adapter network. Once you select, now my VM is started. My VM is open running right now, right? So if I click on show, I can see that the graphical.
But will it have an access to the internet if we select the bridge adapter?
Yes, bridge only will give internet, no?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. So once you select, right now you can say you can directly you logging to that machine, right? So this is the CLI screen, guys. You can see this is the CLI screens you will get. Got the point? So let me show you the link. Later on, I will show you how to connect. So you can give the default username and the password, so you can directly connect from there. Okay. Let me share you the link from where you can download the server part.
Server part is in the different page itself. You have to
This
go
page
back.
itself, no? Go back.
No. So we have to go back and.
There's a
So here
specific
you
section for Ubuntu server.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see, guys, so if you click on Ubuntu only, which will give you only desktop version, and which will be take 1.5 GB, 1.7 GB. And this is if you download Ubuntu server, any one of the click on VirtualBox VDI images. And here you can see, so you can download download this one, 18.4.3, which will be size will be 427 MB. Okay, so I'll say this link, you can download that link on your machine. Let me share that link. Yes, I'll do that. Zoom your screen. That's fine. So this is my guys, I have just downloaded. So again, if you wanted to do, if you want to delete, so just you can shut down over here, power off. You can power off, right? So anytime if you want to remove, you can also remove everything, delete all files. So you can also delete all files here. So this will be clean, delete everything on your machines. So
Saurav,
we
one
just
question, Saurav.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the size of the window that comes up, can that be changed? Because it looks very small actually.
No, I will see that is for to CLI mode only, but we will connect through IP address. Okay, we will use the putty
Okay,
so that
okay.
it can increase. Don't worry. So
Fine, fine.
guys, please try to download that server part or CLI part. You can download it, that one. So let me show you another process right now. So let me see if I have any other things. And do you know how to assign the IP address? Okay, I'll delete this folder now right away. I'll just
Well,
delete.
the IP address for VDI image, it is automatically taking IP address. Like, it is
Okay.
not asking anything. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
It will
Okay,
take
so
on by default.
let me extract file.
I tried with IAP config, but it's not showing anything.
It's not showing anything. Okay,
Might
let
be
me
the
see.
network mismatch. Can you check the network settings?
Yeah, I'm closing the VM and I will try to open because last time I have changed
Oh,
it as a NAT.
So, so all of you, if you download a server part, which will be very less, right? 300 MB, 400 MB. So, and the then the VM speed also very good, right? So you don't need to like it's not required 16 GB RAM or those things. So it will take only for few MB only. 300 MB means it less like it's less than GB it will take, so that you can work frequently. You can work everything, right? But we will see both CLI and graphical as well. So let us see first of all now. I'll firstly I'm going to do right away now again. So once you guys are downloaded, so let me repeat once again. So what you need to give, just you give I'm just giving over here course Docker. Okay, same thing, you have to select Linux and you have to select Ubuntu 64-bit and click next. Same thing, you can select 2 GB, it doesn't matter, click next. And virtual hard disk file, you have to select where your VDI file is available. Go back to your VDI 64-bit, and this is my VDI latest VDI file. Okay, and click, double click. Okay, so if you will get this error if this is already used. So I can see now if this is already used, you will see get this kind of error. So this UUID is already
Sarah,
existing.
what are you trying to create? I'm sorry.
I'm just creating again the same VM so that we can assign the IP address. We can
Okay.
connect it
Okay. Yeah.
remotely. So meanwhile, please download those VDI files from your machine.
Which one? The server version or the desktop?
Better to download the desktop version, which will be good. So I think this is some images will be there, which is 18.64-bit. Let me try this. You need to clean everything. just do here extract. I'm also downloading the new one. Okay, it's going on. That's fine. So same thing, I'll just go back to so I just need to give a location from where I have downloaded. So same error, it will be, let me wait, its download is finishing. 3
Actually,
minutes
this is,
left.
excuse me, you are showing the old one, which is actually attached to another VM. You just need to the attach the right one. Then it will work.
No, even I tried that way, that one as well. So let me download this one.
Whatever you are seeing there, it is the old, the existing VM, which is already in the virtual desktop.
Okay, just wait, I'm just downloading again new one. Let me see that one.
Saurav, my observation.
I
So
have
if I
another one is there, extract file. Let's try that one. Yeah, tell me.
no, if 20 version 20, the desktop version, I'm able to extract and set up in the virtual box, and 18 server version, it is working fine. So
Yeah, 18 is
this is
working
my
fine. I have tested.
no, the server
18.
version, no, not the desktop version. Is for me, desktop version is not working because while unzipping, it fails in between. Same, almost the same error. But the
Yes,
20
yes.
and this works fine actually.
Okay.
Saurav, I think it's working for me for the 18 version.
Yeah,
But I
18
have to
version it
remove.
should work. Yeah.
No, I think we have to remove that existing disk on the
Yeah.
media manager is there, no? I think virtual media manager. On that, I think it was pointing some other disk, I think.
Yeah, it's pointing.
That's the
Yes,
problem.
The
Right.
DUUID is pending. Yeah.
Yeah, that we have to remove. If you remove that, I think it should work for you.
I think here you can removing those things.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody's deleted, downloaded, right? All. So let me I see here too many things are there. So that is what all UUID is taking over here. So I have already done, see, this is one of the VMs which I have already created, the same process. If you just click here, it will show you that. So guys, initially you will face this kind of issue also. So you have to do practice. So until you confident your setup should be there. So multiple VM you can create.
Saurav, I can still have, I'm still having connection refused for this mobile
No,
storage.
I'll show you that. I'll show you that. Just wait.
Yeah.
It's about to finish.
In Ubuntu, by default, SSH service is not enabled. We have to install the
SSH
package.
service is not installed for Ubuntu.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah,
You
we
just
have
need
to
to install the packages. So I'll tell you that step by step, which I have already documented.
Saurabh, one more thing. In Ubuntu VirtualBox, right? Are you not going to configure a static IP? Because
Yeah,
this one is static
we
IP
will
is
assign
required for the Kubernetes.
we will assign the static IP. Okay.
Okay.
So what I'll do here. I think we need to remove this file. Okay, it's taking user have core Ubuntu VDI this file. Okay.
You just remove the existing one, which is part
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
last
yeah,
deployment. Yeah, that's it.
yeah. Just delete that one.
You can do it without deleting here. You can delete it from there actually. So it will just only delete it from the virtual box that referring to that VDI image.
Yeah, see, it's referring this same, I think. So it's 64-bit VDI Ubuntu server. This as well, and
Sir, hello.
Saurabh, you have to shut down that VMs.
Sir,
yeah,
can you listen
VM
me,
is
sir?
already shut down. No?
Sir,
No,
can I
it's
tell you
not one VM.
something?
Is the Docker server Ubuntu, right? That one is running, right? This one. Just
Yeah.
shut down this one.
Yes. Tell me, anyone asking question?
Yes, sir. I want to share something after seeing this procedure. I believe that it is an easy process to download the CentOS file from the torrents, right? Torrents and later going to the VMware player rather than the virtual box. How it will be? Because virtual box is so customized. So VMware player is fine.
VMware.
But it's not going to work with the Vagrant, right? So if you are going to do it to the
It
Vagrant
will
and
work.
those
No,
things,
no, 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 no. It will work. It will work. VMware player is like competitor of the virtual box. If you install this virtual box in the Ubuntu operating system, then you have to do the swap partitions also, which is a big headache for the beginners.
Yes, yes. So that there is a different steps are there. I'll tell you. So
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm getting
Because
this error.
because after looking your procedure, I have revised my thing what I did earlier. I downloaded the CentOS file from the torrents. It is nearly 7.2 GB and that will take approximately 3 to 3.5 hours based on the internet speed. And later we can go to the VMware.com. From there, VMware player we need to download for the operating system whatever we use. So on Windows it will be better.
Yeah.
It is easy to install on the Windows. If we go for the Ubuntu again, we need to do with the partition management and all. Swap partition we need to increase
Yeah,
and decrease.
those things not required. So this is the easy method only. So let me see this one. Okay, so I have cleaned everything. So let me create it now. So now guys, you can see here my VM is ready right now. Now what I'll do here, as I told you, after you import that VDI file, just you select here setting, network setting, and click on the network, go back to here bridge adapter and click on OK. Right, so initially when you use VDI file and bring up your virtual machine, and you just need to click on start here. Let me start now.
Hi sir, can you make it big screen?
Yes, 1 second. So initially, let me check what is the IP address of this box right now. And as you know, guys, after you install, if you wanted to know the username password I told you yesterday, you can click on the VM info. So OS boxes is a username, and the password will be osboxes.org. See, I just logging to this machine, and if I just check the IP address, IPAS. So this OS boxes, if you want to connect if config and if config, those will not work. So if you click on IPAS. So when you click on IPAS, you are not showing any IP address, isn't it not? Is it clear? So if I full screen mode.
If you're enabling DHCP in your wireless, definitely you'll get the automated IP address, right?
Yes. So by default, um, if you click on server part, if you select a server part, that means everything will be completely disable. Then you need to start with very basic things. Even you can't ping anything, right? So how do you configure network setup here? So this is one process. Okay, so I'll just minimize this one. I'll just minimize this step right now. Yesterday I told you there is a process called vagrant process, isn't it not? Suppose somebody say I have created VM, so I don't have an IP address, and what is the process to assigning the IP address to Ubuntu machine? Is it possible to? Are you able to see my screen? This is okay or very small?
Yes, a little.
Sir,
Sir,
please increase the window size. Please increase the window size, sir. It's too
after
small.
config the interface, after config the IP over the interface, we can do SSH from outside to the machine. Means now we should handle it up to that step.
Yeah, exactly. That you can't do right now. Okay, so this is one steps for creating a virtual box in Oracle. Just you download and import, and your VM will be automatically. But if you go for the desktop version, automatically IP will be assigned. You don't need to do anything. So if you go for a desktop version, so yesterday I have show you a desktop version, and initially Ubuntu machine does not have SSH is enabled. So if you see here and if you connect to sudo hyphen I or just do sudo su dash, same password you need to connect, right? And if you see here guys, so initially nothing will work here. See, SSHD service is not running, nothing is there. So initially you have to set up everything until once it is done. So everything is fixed, then you can take a snapshot as well. Clear? But I told you yesterday, you can also bring off the VM is vagrant, which will be lightweight VM. If you have, suppose if you have a 4 GB RAM, you do not have a 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM, you have only 4 GB RAM. From there, how do you start? So this is the vagrant machine I told you yesterday. So you just need to download a vagrant. So let me show you that. So you just need to download a vagrant. So I have already downloaded a vagrant file. The software which I have downloaded. See, this is what I guys downloaded vagrant. And after you download this vagrant file, you just need to double click and install it. So that once your vagrant is done, then you can start your installation part. But if you want to assign IP address in Ubuntu machine, that will be little difficult in the sense first initial steps required. So let me say, configuration file of etc, there is called net apply, net plan. This is the configuration file of your Ubuntu machine, which does not have anything right now. And someone will say which IP address we need to assign. So if you see route-n, there is no gateway, right? Let me connect on this machine. Let me see what is the router. So you need to assign based on your router IP. When you connect your Wi-Fi, you will see if you connect here route, if you just mention route-print on Windows machine, so you will see here IP address of your machine. So this IP will be 192.168.1.0. So this is my router IP address, Wi-Fi IP address, and I have to assign this IP. Then only I can able to connect to my VM. And you can see here what is the gateway he's saying. Gateway is a 1.1. So gateway will be 1.1. So how to assign the IP address on Windows machine, or if you want to assign the IP address Ubuntu machine? So let me do that one, and I'll show you the steps. You just click over here. So what I'll do, guys, click on this file. Just open this file. Okay, in this network configuration file, go back to this config file. So I'll just mention here. I'll say the steps to you. So just mention the network D and your Ethernet. So I think I did some good steps over here. So these are the steps you have to do. So let me copy, but even you can't copy paste as well, right? So the Ethernets you have to give what is the interface name, and your interface name will be ENP0S3, ENP0S3, and you just select here.
Is it YAML? Actually here indentation is matter, right? So I tried to this configuration file. Is it YAML?
It's not YAML.
But
Okay, you're talking about this one. This is VI edit. Yeah, this is YAML format only.
Yeah, but indentation is here. It's if you are not following indentation, it will not save. So we will get an error always.
Exactly. So let me assign the IP because I'm using 192.168.1. This series IP. So I'll say my IP will be 150 IP I'm assigning, and this is 24 things. And I'll go back for gateway 4. So I'll say 192.168.1.1. And you can just use the name server. So the name server IP will be here. Will be address. So just learn something about on Ubuntu also. So which will be familiar with Ubuntu box. So once you assign the IP address, then you can directly connect it from PuTTY. So the first thing is what the version you have to mention the interface name, the internet's ENP0S3 DHCP will be no, and I'm just assigning the IP address of static IP, because you know when you mention the bridge adapter, if DHCP is enabled, automatically you will get one IP address. But if you reboot your machine, then again you will get another IP address, right? The IP will be changed. But in the Docker and Kubernetes, you need to assign the static IP address. Always you need to assign the static IP. So I'll just save this file. I'll just save this file, sorry. Save this file, and if you
So
apply,
can we share this notepad, this file to our in the chat or something? We can use
yeah,
it.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, guys, follow this one. So now you can see here to apply, you can use netplan apply, which will assign
how
you
will
the
get
IP
the
address.
gateway router hyphen n, right?
Yes, route -n, or if you are in Windows machine, then route print
This is
commands
Ubuntu
you
server.
use.
This is Ubuntu
Okay.
server.
Yeah, this is Ubuntu. You can use route -n. You can use, if it's Ubuntu, you can use route -n. So netplan apply I have used. Now if I use IPAS, so you can see, guys, one IP address is there. 1.150 IP is assigned to my box right now. Got the point? So the commands, I'll share you all the steps, don't worry. But initially it will take. So if config, that command will not work initially. IP config, if config, you just use IPAS, which command will show you guys assigning the IP address to your interface right now. So now if I try to connect remotely, will it work? So I have used this is a command, so I'll just use ping command 192.168.1.150. if I use 150, so I can see it's pinging, right? Ping is happening. But if I try to do SSH, that IP, if I do connect 168.1.150, see, it's not happening. So everybody will get this error. Connection refused.
One thing is when I installed the net tools in that Ubuntu box, my if config started working. Like it took automatically, like the IP address and all the stuff. But where all this Docker is a different machine? Is it a different machine?
No, this is also same. Which server tools you have used? Because see, I have disabled the DHCP service. I wanted to show you because if you configure DHCP automatically, IP will be assigned automatically. The problem is what if your machine will reboot your IP, you will get another new IP address. Okay, because it is the
Right.
DHCP is enabled.
No, but sort of, I rebooted couple of times my VM, right? Every time is getting the
Yes,
same IP. IP is not getting
exactly,
changed for me.
because you have only single machine, right? Why if you
No.
create another
I
machine,
have
if the
no. I
bridge
have
is
created the
enabled?
no. I have created the multiple machine. In the network, right? I configure as a bridge. Every VM is taking the same IP multiple times.
Yeah,
My IP is not getting changed.
exactly. But the as for the bridge concept, bridge will assign the DHCP IP. You're not assign them manually, but by
No, I'm not
mistakenly, if it
assigning.
exactly, if it assign, if the IP got changed, then it will be, and your cluster will be goes down. So that is what you have to go for, the static IP. Okay, always you prefer the static IP. If you feel that I don't want to use the static IP, you can use that as well. Okay.
One thing in the VM, right? One network can I give for Kubernetes, right? I can assign the two IP. One IP it will take from the DHCP that will in the bridge, and the second network I can assign as a static IP.
Yes, you
Is there
can
any
do that.
challenge?
That we will discuss with Kubernetes time. Okay,
Yeah.
you can do
Okay.
that way also. So there are
Yeah,
different
sure.
types of installation, guys. I'm just discussing. There are different way of installation process will be there. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. So by default, after you assigning the IP, you can see here the machine is open running, but you can see here SSHD service is not running, so immediately you just run apt update. So this will be, it will update all the packages. If anything pending packages there, it will try to update. So after you assigning the IP address on your machine, what you need to do is just run a command called apt update. So it will update all the package. Okay, fine. So once it is done, suppose I want to install SSH. How do I install? You just use apt install or open. There is a package called open SSH. So if you see here, there are many things are coming over
Yeah,
here.
I just given SSH. That's it.
Yeah, so just search here SSH. So here you can see, but the package called open SSH. So you will see here, guys, open SSH server will be there. You just install these packages. So to enable SSH, you just need to use apt install open SSH -server-y. So this for enable, whenever you install this package, automatically you can see here, automatically you can see the SSHD service will be automatic, it will start. So you can just verify SSHD status. Just verify, the service will be start automatically. So its installation is going on.
Yeah, can you just explain, just show me where to disable the DHCP for this VM?
That one you just need to hear DHCP equal to no.
No, because I'm
Okay,
not able
you
to
asked
find
me that
ETC
how to
cloud,
disable. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you. Wait.
because I'm not able to see that ETC cloud inside my system because I'm using a VDI image. I'm not able to see ETC cloud file.
Which file? Are you not able to see ETC net plan?
Let me check that. 1 second.
Open this file.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. See, guys,
Okay,
now you
but
can see.
I don't. Sorry. I only see network manager all.yaml file, and I don't see any other file other than that.
Okay, fine. So let me complete my thing. Then I'll tell you. Okay.
Okay.
So now you can see, guys, the service. You can see service SSHD status. Now service SSHD is running fine right now. So in Ubuntu machine, if you're working with Ubuntu machine, by default SSH will be disabled. Every Ubuntu machine, it may be graphical mode or it may be CLI mode. By default Ubuntu is disabled. So you just need to install Ubuntu and automatically you can see service SSHD status. You can see Ubuntu is automatically up and running right now. And also by default, if you just go to the config file, etc SSHD _config, this is the configuration file of SSH, right? So by default there is also one parameter is disabled, which is called, you cannot logging from
Permit.
with there is a called permit say password authentication will be, you can say
permit root login.
that's fine. You can say password authentication will be, you just need to be enable this line so that it will allow you to enter a password while you connect remotely. This is one line. And there is also, guys, you can see one more line which is called permit root logging. So you can see here permit root logging. So by default it will not allow you to logging. So you just need to be here, what you need to do, so you just put it yes here, right? Those things you need to update it. I'll save those steps, don't worry. So once it is done, you can restart the service. Okay, it will start. So I'll just do restart. So now, guys, you can see the service SSHD service is up and running right now. Now if you check what is the IP address, So IP is 150, right? So I'll change the password of this machine. So I'll use my password, Red Hat common password I have used. Now if you try to connect remotely, so what I'll do, now you can just use SSH. See, now if you hit enter SSH, now you can able to access that particular machine from outside. I just click on yes. And so I just need to give the username over here. I'll say I want to connect with root user. See, look it now, guys. Now I can able to log into the box, right? So what I'll do, I'll just use here the MOVX stream. I'll connect session SSH. I'll use enter 192.168.1.150, and which user I want to connect, I'll use a root user. And with if you want to some bookmark something, you want to use a session name here, I'll say this is my Docker server. You can give a name as well, so that click OK. Is asking the password, just enter a password. Now you can able to connect to remotely. So connect remotely, it's working fine right now. So I can here increase the font size. So this is one good things you can use, and all the commands, whatever commands I have typed from here, now every command will be recorded. So what I did initially, once your VM is up and running, there is a configuration file which is called etc net plan, and you can use just tab over here. You will get this file, okay? And you just need to be add those information to assigning the IP address to your Ubuntu machine. So you can go for the server part, because if you go for the server part, your machine will be frequent, it will work, it will not take much time as well. Boot up will be very fast. So after entering this one, guys, to apply the network, you have to use net plan apply. This particular command will assigning the IP address to your Ubuntu box. Okay. So once this is done, so you need to install apt install open ssh-server. This is for to enable SSH packages. So once it is enabled, so you can use the service SSHD status. You can see my service is a open running. So you can see my service is a open running right now.
Saurav, one question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like suppose if I'm doing from my box, like how do I get the IP address that I have to assign? Like in your case, you have assigned .150,
okay,
right?
so I told you, that is what I told you. You need to enter. So this is my git cmd line. So git cmd line, you can directly run on Windows machine. You can directly execute all Linux command. Okay, this is the very good thing. You can also install it on your machine. You just run here route print command. So route print command will give you guys your all the IP address details over here. So you can see here very first you can see the gateway. You can see the gateway. Okay. So that means you need to assign 192.168 series IP you need to assign. So you can use 1.150, 1.10, 1.20, whatever.
Got it.
Okay, got it? Good. So now I can say that is what I have also used. My gateway will be 1.1 because my Windows machine gateway will be 1.1. So that is what I have. See, sometime in your machine does not have a gateway 1.1. So might be you have 192.168.31.5, 32.5, whatsoever. So accordingly, you have to assign those IP address. Then only, guys, you can access that machine from remotely. So I just did it now. So after that, even though you did everything remotely, you cannot log in from with password, because of in the configuration file etc sssd_config file, And you can see here by default one is what permit root link. You need to enable this line. This will be enable root user. To enable root user, you need to use this command. And there is also I have enabled one more line, which will this for allow the password. I just want to connect to my box with password. So you have to enable these two line, and the configuration file will be this. This is the configuration file. So to enable root user via SSH. So this is what you need to enable. So once you enable, so what you need to do, you just need to restart the service. So service SSHD restart. So guys, these are the steps which is required in our Kubernetes class as well, because on the Kubernetes we will install Kubernetes on our own laptop itself. Okay.
Saurabh, Vishwajit here. I have one query. So, the IP address what you are going to assign to your server edition and the desktop editions, is it should be similar to the base IP address, base machine IP
Yes,
address?
yes.
I enabled the
Not
bridge
base machine
adapter.
network, base machine network.
Yeah, so I enabled the network as a bridge adapter and the settings, and it is automatically taken that 192 series IP. So do I again
Exactly.
need
So
to
if some
modify that
not required, not
netplan
required, not
file
required,
or not required?
not required. Yeah.
Okay.
So guys, by default, those are getting IP address automatically. You don't need to assign the static IP. That is not required in the Docker class. Okay. But next step you have to do, somebody say I have installed but I'm not able to connect through SSH. The problem is what? SSH is not enabled. So you need to install this package. After you install package, just verify whether the service is running or not. Even though everything's working, but password will not take, because you have to enable this to line and restart the service. This is what guys, successfully you have done your installation part, as well as enable root user, enable password authentication, and restart the SSD server. And these are the also same for Linux. Even if you go for CentOS VDI file, does not have the root access enable, the password authentication, you have to follow these are the process, even if you go for CentOS as well. Right. So this is one steps.
So one question. Can you go to that Docker server name? What's the version of Ubuntu? The Docker version, the one behind. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
What exactly you want to check?
Is it an Ubuntu version or is it an Red Hat version?
Yeah, it's Ubuntu. So if you check uname -a, so you can see this is generic, right? OS boxes Ubuntu.
Yeah, because there is two different configuration changes. I'm running Ubuntu 18.
Okay. There is one more things there. Networks inside the interface will be there. So do you have this file? It is a network interface file.
Yeah, by default
I'm
is
just
coming etc network interface, right?
Yes, if that is there, that is fine, right? So but recently in the Ubuntu latest version, everyone will be used that config file will be, it is a net plan. So that is what I have updated net plan. Okay, suppose see, if
It
you are
is,
getting IP
I
address, that
believe,
is fine.
sort of under etc
16
net plan,
version.
it is starting with 00 for my machine instead of 50 cloud hyphen inet.yaml file. So it is starting with 00 for me, not 50.
That is fine, you use that one. Okay, which is there, you use it, that one. Okay, so this is one steps for install a virtual machine. And if you want to set host name of, you can use host name ctl set host name. First you can check what is your host name. My host name OS boxes will be there. I'll just set my host name. I'll say this is docker.lab.example.com. So I can use any name. Sorry, you have to use host name CTL. So now you can see the host name is changed right now. Okay, so quickly, once you guys familiar with this process, okay, so what I'll do, my next steps is you can also go for the vagrant. So will you able to create a vagrant? So you can see here now, I have already installed a vagrant. So if I just type vagrant, say the vagrant is already there installed, because once you download this file, vagrant file, and if you do double click on Windows machine, you can install vagrant packages. You can install the vagrant packages, can be installed. So first initially what I need to do now, I just use my vagrant. If I run dir dir command, already I have installed, so I'll just remove that file. Sorry. So what I'm going to do now, this is one of the easy steps anybody can install. If you have 4 GB RAM, if you do not have 8 GB RAM, you can go for this smallest vagrant installation. I just deleted. And I told you the website which will give you the all the steps over here. See, you can use after you install the vagrant machine. Easy method is what? After you download vagrant machine, there are two commands will be there. The first command will be, you just directly run it from vagrant. Go back to this document. So there are two commands you just need to be used to bring up your the vagrant machine. I'll just, which one we will use? I'll go for the Ubuntu here. Okay, this I'll go for. This is the file. So after you install, just run a command call. So vagrant, run command called vagrant init and Ubuntu. And what is the version of Ubuntu? I'll go for Bionic 64. So when you hit enter, this command will create one vagrant file on your machine. On your laptop, it will create one vagrant file, and this will be, can be, if you have a Windows machine, if you are Linux machine, if you are using Mac machine, doesn't matter. Now you can see one vagrant file is which is created in my local machine. Once your vagrant machine is created, then you can just use a command called vagrant op. This command will read your vagrant file and bring up your virtual machine. Okay, so this will take little time because you will try to download all the images, right? So and it will just give that images to your virtual box. So now you can see here the importing base box Ubuntu Bionic 64, and automatically you will see here, see automatically you will also see automatically created one VM as well. You can see here under default, see, and it's running now. See, look it here, it's running now. That means this is one easy method you can go, guys. You just run this install vagrant and run this command vagrant init ubuntu this bionic 64 and run it vagrant op command, which will bring up your virtual machine. It will take just 10 minutes to bring up everything. So what you need to do first, I'll bring up. So step 1, install vagrant. Steps 2, first run vagrant, create a vagrant file. So I'll just create a vagrant file. I have just run this command, sorry. Vagrant init. So this will create a vagrant file, and once that you just run command called vagrant op. This will bring up your Ubuntu machine. So these are the steps you have to go, guys. If you do not have anything, you can just follow with the vagrant machine, and this is the machine. It will take 300 MB. So if you do not have any size, it will just take 300 MB of your size, and it will complete all the installation process, which will be easy installation. So you can say this is about to complete. So now you can see the vagrant machine is successfully up and running. These are my details, right? And here you can see my vagrant machine also up and running right now. So if those steps already done, then what you need to do, and I want to connect to my vagrant machine. So how do you connect? Just use vagrant SSH. So when you hit enter vagrant SSH, you will directly connect to your initially it will take some time to do SSH to your machine. But the problem is what, say you connected here, everything looks fine, isn't it not? Now your vagrant is up and running. But if you see here IPAS, what is your IP it's showing, guys? You're getting the IP. This is the netting IP address, net IP. But this IP you cannot SSH to, you can't SSH this IP to remotely. If I do connect to over here, I cannot, even I can't ping that IP address. Yes or no? So what do you need to do? You have to assign the bridge network. So I'll say sudo power off. So when you say sudo power off, automatically this VM going to down. Say the VM is going to down this machine. So what I need to do, I'll just right click setting and go back to your network. If you see netting, right, just select bridge adapter. You will get automatically, you will get one IP and click OK. So you will get one IP address on vagrant box.
Saurav, one question.
Yes.
Now, how to get the vagrant one in the Oracle VM? It doesn't come by default, actually. I just
No, that doesn't will come if you are if you want to install. First, you need to install vagrant on your laptop.
that's
okay.
done.
Once it is done,
he meant to ask is that how to map that vagrant server
you don't need to map.
into the
That will
Oracle
come
VM.
automatically if you just mention vagrant SSS vagrant op, right? This will comes automatically. It will map to on your machine. It's not happening for you.
Yeah, no, it's happening. Correct. It's happening. I can see now.
Sir, what is the command after background up?
Once you did vagrant op, you can just
Yes.
use vagrant SSS to connect to your VM.
Okay.
Okay. And but the problem is what why I have removed, because I can see the IP is it showing 10.0.2.15, which I don't want, because this is IP by default. I told you any VM if you want to deploy in Oracle VirtualBox, you will get setting. If you go, guys, click on network. If you select, by default will be it was netting. So netting series will assign the 10 series IP address. So you have to select a bridge adapter. Everything I have done. Then I need to bring up over here that machine. I just click on show. Now next time, I told you, once your VM is done, you have bring up Ubuntu machine. What is the problem? SSH will not install. You have to follow these other process to SSH to remotely. Yes or no, guys? So let me connect to that machine here now. This machine is coming boot off right now. And for Vagrant default user, so if I say Vagrant machine, what is the username? The default username will be Vagrant, and the password also will be also same, that is called Vagrant only. These are the will be same. Username password will be same if you want to connect to your Vagrant box. And this is, I feel this is only easy method to practice on your laptop. If you have 2 GB RAM, you can practice. If you have 1 core, you can practice this Vagrant using Ubuntu.
So can you write down the step for the shutdown as well? After background up.
Shutdown. Okay. Okay. So once this one, so to connect Vagrant box, you just use Vagrant SSH. Okay. So automatically you will see Vagrant will be SSH to Vagrant. So after that, if you want to shut down the machine, this is Linux command, so you can use sudo power off. So now guys, I can see my I can able to see the Ubuntu Binac machine. So I'll just use enter Vagrant here, Vagrant, and just enter password Vagrant. So after entering the password, now I can say I can able to log into my box, right? I can able to log into the Vagrant machine, which will be 300 MB. Now if you see IPAS, you will see one IP address which is called 192.168.1.107, which in my case this IP got automatically, right? So that's fine. Even if you reboot, this IP will may not be changed because you are not using many machines, right? Okay, fair enough. But I cannot do SSH. So if you want to connect, do sudo. You just do sudo hyphen I. You can become a directly root user. And if you want to change, you can change the password. Assign the password to this box. The machine is changed successfully. But the only thing is what I just need to do apt install open ssh hyphen server. This is mandatory, you have to do. Okay, this is already done. So that means if I do sssd status, so I can say my sssd service is running. That's fair enough. But the only the problem is you will face which is called sssd config. You have to enable the permit root logging, which I told you. This you need to enable, and you have to put here yes. This is one thing you have to do. And next thing will be password authentication. By default it will be no, so you have to enable yes, so I can enter the password, right? Fair enough. This is steps is done. Then you can restart the service SSD restart. So now you can see the IP address, which is called 1.0.192.168.1.107, which I got the Vagrant IP address. I'll say here. And whenever you type a command in your inside the VM, the mouse will not come outside. You have to press Control so that it will release the mouse in outside. Okay, these are the trick you can follow. So what I'll do, shall I connect to SSH?
So one
The root.
second. So have you given DHCP for that? For background support, have you disabled the DHCP?
No, since I got the IP address, so I have not disabled anything.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, so if
So
you want,
this
you can do that.
DHCP is trying to assign the IP address, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Now you can see
Okay.
I can connect that machine from remotely. I'll just do yes over here, and I enter the password. So now you guys can see my Vagrant machine is up and running, and it's running fine from outside. And if I do here IPAS, so I can see all the IP address 1.1.107. Yes or no? So everything is perfect right now. Anybody
Uh,
has any questions to bring up
yeah,
those machine?
I have one doubt. We have a one background machine. We connected background SSH. If you have multiple machines,
Yes,
background machines,
you have to
okay,
connect IP address only. Okay.
okay.
Okay. So this is fair enough, guys. This is one of the very important things to do. Suppose if you feel I wanted to change the IP address, I want to set an IP address for static IP, then I told you the steps for to do NetApp. You can just use net plan and connect here. Automatically you will get this file. So here you can say DSCP is true. So because of that, you're getting the IP address. Yes or no? If you want to change, you wanted to set the static IP, then what I'll do? I'll just click DSCP for no. This 3 line I don't need. I'll delete, and this 3 line I don't need. Version is required, that is fine. So here, so I have steps written over here, which I assign to IP address statically. So I'll just copy all these commands. I'll copy this command first. Okay, so I'll assign the IP address for this machine 192.61.10107. Enter. So next will be I need to assign the gateway. So gateway for my case, gateway is not 192.160.43. I'll say 1.1, right? Next will be the name server. This will be same for every VM because this is the address for Google for DNS result. So you can use this, no problem. Right, guys? So this is what I did now. It's very simple. Now I'll just save this file. So after save this file, what I'll do? Net plan apply. So this will apply in your network setup. So it will not this for online, guys. See, you change the IP address, still I can able to do SSH, right? Now if you do IPAS, now my IP will be fixed. Even if I reboot my machine, I will get the fixed IP address over here. So if you set up this thing, then it's not required two interface as well, right? So within one interface, you can complete your all the Kubernetes installation, Docker installation, everything you can do it on this machine itself only. Got the pen? Hopefully everybody clear. So if I just tell that one, this is what I did initially. So this is what IP have assigned to these things. So hopefully all of you clear to install VirtualBox on your laptop. So follow this process. Might be initially you will get some problem. Don't worry, we are here to help you, right? So this installation I will because for me, if I start Kubernetes, so for me because you guys already know, I can do it very fast to complete. So make sure please finish this installation on your laptop without fail tomorrow when you're coming. Fine.
So one more thing. Let's suppose if I don't configure the static IP, right? My first network interface IP is taking from bridge. If there will be any challenge during the Kubernetes setup?
Yes, for the Kubernetes setup, say if your IP will not change me, that is fine. But
Yeah,
see,
IP
by default, but if IP is not changing, you don't need to assign the static IP. But as you Linux admin, why not you practice these steps? That is fine, right? You can do that way. But if IP is not changing, there will be no problem.
And let's suppose if I configure two IP, first IP is taking from the DSCP, that one is a permanent, and the second IP is taking from static IP.
You
So
can
that
use
one is
that
also
way
fine,
also.
right?
That is
That way
also
also,
fine.
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So guys, I have show you the steps for using VDI, or you can go for Vagrant for bring up your virtual machine, and I'll say you these steps to you follow those steps, and if you have any kind of issues, then you can come back to me tomorrow as well. Okay. Now, so now right now I have done everything and installation is done. Then what is the next right now? What is the next now? So now I have only for let me create a new one. Not save. So right now I have done, this is box I have, and this is my laptop which I have created one VM, and which host name will be docker.lab.example.com, and the IP address for this machine, the IP address will be, the IP address is 192.168.1.150 I have assigned. Clear? This is what is there. Now the customer is asking, okay, can you give me one machine where I want to practice my Docker? This is, guys, he is looking for one VM, and assign one VM, and Docker should install, because I have Docker images, and those Docker images I need to launch my images to my VM. How to do this one? So if I give my plain virtual machine does not have anything, then he cannot deploy. So what I'll do now, I'll say, okay, my VM is ready. Now I will install Docker. Now I will install a Docker. So how to install Docker? So now we need to install a Docker. We need to install a Docker. After install Docker, then I will ask to customer, please log into this machine and deploy your application using Docker images. So if I want to install a Docker, what is the process I need to follow? What are the steps I need to follow? What are the steps I have to do for install a Docker? So I told you guys the documentation called docs.docker.com. So when you click this docs.docker.com initially, you're getting one option called download and install. So if you click here, download and install, you will see here Docker desktop for Mac operating system. If you are Mac, you follow this one. If you are Windows, you can follow. No, I want to install Docker and practice everything on Linux machine. Then you need to click on Linux. So when you click Linux, you will see here which kind of operating system you are using. Are you using CentOS? Then click CentOS. If you are using Fedora, then click Fedora. No, I'm using Ubuntu. Then I'll just click on Ubuntu. When you click on Ubuntu, you will see here the install Docker engine on Ubuntu machine. What is the prerequisite? The prerequisite is your machine should be 64-bit version, and make sure you should download, these are the things you can download: 20, you can download 19, you can download 18. The operating system should be this version. Okay, and I can see everything is done. And the next thing is what and one thing, suppose somebody says I'm not able to install VirtualBox on my laptop, I'm unable to create a VM on my laptop. So what is the problem? If you just run one command, I'll just run one command. Let me come out from this mess. Just run system info. When you run this command on your laptop, system info, you will see here one called hyper-v requirement. That means hyper-v is enabled. If hyper-v is not enabled, that means you cannot install the Oracle VirtualBox on your laptop. But by default, every laptop has enabled Hyper-V, so then you don't need to worry about this one. But if you wanted to just verify, then you can just run this command system info. This is Windows command. So this command will give you all the system information, and which will give you the current IP address, and which also will give you whether Hyper-V is enabled or not. You can see this information. So I can see everything is perfect right now. I need to start my installation. What are the process I have to follow? So first of all is asking, if you have any Docker is already installed, then please remove first of all. Before you start Docker installation, he's asking to remove the installation. So I'll do here copy, and I'll just mention what is my VM name. This is my VM name, and seems here, guys, even after change my password. Okay, I have changed my host name, still it's showing OS boxes. Just run base command. So base will change the host name. You can see my host name will be this, right? So what I'll do, I'll just use, sorry, let me copy, just paste. So this command will remove all the Docker engine, but I can say this is a fresh installation, nothing is there, but that's fine. But if anything is already installed, please clean first. So this is the step 1. What is the steps 2? Installation method. Install using the repository. So first you run apt get update. I told you this command. This command will check if any packages are there. It will try to update all the run existing packages. Then you try to install apt get install and install those packages which will allow you to enable HTTPS repository. So just install those packages. After you install those things, then you have to follow to add Docker official GPG key. So run this command, which will be enable GPG key. So if GPG key is not enabled, that means when you install a package, a Docker package, it will ask please enter GPG key. So you just need to enable GPG key. If you after you enable, then if you run this command, then you will not get, it will not ask you any GPG key. That means only 3 steps. The first step will be you run this command to add a repository, and this command for adding a key. The next you just need to run the command called docker c docker cli. These are the commands you need to run. Only 3 commands you need to run. This is the step 1 process. If you feel no, I don't want to use this, I know Docker is easy, can I go for automation installation? So that is fine. So for that there is one script is available. If you go little down, see there is called install using script. So you don't need to follow all the process, all the step by step, everything is written over here. So I'll just run this command, download this file, run the script. So if I do this step, these 2 steps, that means my machine has a Docker is enabled. So what I'll do, guys, I'll follow the easy method. I'll just copy this command and I'll just paste it over here. And when you hit enter, when you run ls command, you will see one script is already downloaded. Once it is downloaded, then you run this command to execute that script. Simple. Since I'm logging a root user, so I don't need sudo, but you can do that as well. Just paste and hit enter. So this will be, guys, to done installation will be done. Got the point? That means it will take for 5 minutes to install a Docker and making a setup. It's done. Then you can play your Docker. Any container, any instance, if you wanted to do, you can start your job using Docker. So this will be start installation process. And suppose you have another machine and you want to install, then you can follow these 2 process. This is also you can do that. Since I have already done, so it will just take time to install those packages, everything, and it will finish your installation. So that means, so if you want to install a Docker, so how to install a Docker? So this is the steps for Ubuntu, but if you are in different, then CentOS machine, steps are different. Okay, so Ubuntu machine, first you just download these 2 things. So you have to run, these are the command. First command will be this. These are the 2 commands you can run for install Docker. So if you want to install Docker, you just hit these 2 commands. So let me wait whether my installation is done. So it will just take some time to finish your installation process.
So in the meanwhile, can you explain once again for manual step? And this one by you are installing through a script, right?
Yeah, so manual steps is these 2 things only. Manual steps mean you just run these are the command. First you run this command.
Okay.
First I'll go for sudo this command.
Yeah. apt get update, right?
Okay, apt get update. Next will be add this one.
Repo. Yes, right.
Repo.
Okay,
Once
after
you
that
enable this
GPG
one
key.
and add a GPG key, and after
Yes.
that you run this command for this 2. That's it.
No, what about that repository we need to add or not?
Which one? This will be added. No, see here if you do right, GPG key is added. Which this is not any other thing. Okay, you have to do
Below
this
that?
as well. This one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
third
this
one.
one.
Third one is yes.
So this for enable a repository, so that if you're not enable this one, you cannot execute. You can't install the packages. So you run
Correct.
this
We have
command.
to go
Do
with that
enter.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So once this is done, a manual process, if I wanted to do, then I'll just run this command, copy and hit enter. Yes. So now you can see on this machine script, everything is done right now, and everything is completed right now, guys. So now if you just run a command docker info, right, you will see all the information about your Docker, what is the version of Docker you are using, which storage you are using, and all it will give all the information. And and you can see the Docker, the version. If you want to see, you can see the Docker version. So Docker version is 19.03. This is the version we are using, community version we are using. It's very simple steps for install a Docker. So you don't need to spend anything, just run it this one, guys, for you done your installation Docker. So after that, if you want to check the information about a Docker, so if I want to check information about a Docker, sorry, about Docker, then I'll just run a command called docker info. So same thing, if you want to check the version, then I'll run a docker version command. This will give you the versions. Right now, I will tell to my customer, I will inform to my customer, hey, I have created the VM. The VM host name will be this, IP address this, and Docker is up and running. So please connect to this machine and do your job. Got the point? So he will connect to this machine, and as a developer, as a familiar with the Docker platform, so they can create, they can build, they can deploy, they can see all the images, right? So those things you can run it right now. Now, if I see, okay, and customer will say, okay, how do I deploy? How do I create a container, right? So I'll say, okay, to create a container, which commands you have to use? So to create a container, you need to use a command called docker run command. So docker run command is responsible for to start a container or to launch a container using image. So they'll say, okay, from where I will get images, and I already said the link to we see all the images, guys. So you can see that hub.docker.com. This is one of the website, this is the site where you will get all the public images. You can see all the images, or you can also create your own images, kept it publicly, so that anybody can download from the images, right? But to use hops.docker.com, I told you to create account. So very simple to create account. So if you want to log out, because I have created my account, so I just logged in my account. So to create accounts, very simple, just follow the process. So done. Hopefully if you are attending Docker, make sure you should have a Docker account as well. Okay, so if those not created, please create a Docker account as well. So if I go to my Explorer over here, I can see there are a lot of Docker images which is available currently. So I can host anything. So I can see here, if I wanted to, I want to check whether my Docker is working fine or not. Even if you go to your the official documentation, they will say once you're done, once you're done your installation, how to verify whether I have done my installation or not. So he's giving, okay, to verify Docker is installed correctly or not, please use one hello-world image. This is one of the images there, which will, you can pull these images. So when you run Docker run image name, so this will give you one message. This is a dummy images, guys, nothing is there. This is for only testing whether you have done your installation or successfully or not. So I just run command called docker run hello world. So what exactly it will do? When you hit when you run hit enter this command, when you run this command, what exactly? First he will check whether hello world image is available local machines or not. If not there in local machine, then it will try to pull the images from public registry, which is called Docker Hub, right? So before I downloaded, I just wanted to check whether image is there, and I'll just here search. So if I just search here, I can say Docker search image names. I can see there are a lot of images are available. Lot of hello world images are available with different user. These are the these guys created hello world test. These are the created, right? So many images are available. So I'll see here search command to check whether image is there in registry or not. So once I verify, and if I wanted to launch, then I'll just run hello world. So when I hit enter this command, first I told you, whenever you run any command, first it will say unable to find image in locally. That means this image is not available in not there in local machine. If it is not there, it's just pulling those images from Docker Hub directly, right? So pull is completed. Now you can see image is also downloaded successfully. Now you can say hello from Docker. So if you're getting this message is nothing but it's saying that your installation is successfully correctly. What of it? This is just a dummy message. It will give you the message whether it is successfully you have done your installation part or not. So it will just verify purpose that one. Now when you run this command, first he will pull that images. So if you see here Docker images, when you run Docker images, hit enter. So you can see guys, one image is already downloaded and which is available in my local machine. When you say Docker image, the first it will show repository name, and the tagging mean what is the version of images, which is latest version, and this is the image ID, and this image is created last 6 months ago, and what is the size of images, which is called 13.3 KB, right? Now you can see my image is available. It's very simple to Docker run command, and just you wanted to container you want to start, and you can see. Now if you want to see whether my hello world, how many containers are running on my local machine. So if I run Docker PS, you can check the process. I can see nothing is running. But what about you run this hello world? See, this is the run, give message and done the job. So how can I see all the container which is running and which is already stopped? So I can just ps-a. So when I run ps-a, you can see this container, it is started about minute ago, 1 minute ago it started, and it gave a hello message given and it's exited. And the minute ago, and this is already container is already done, and which is already not running. So this Docker PS command, which will give you currently what are the images are, what are the containers running on your currently on local machine. And if you want to check, I want to list all container which is running as well as which is stopped already. So you can jump ps-a for all. It will print the all images. What are the containers? Everything it will list over here. Suppose I don't want to deploy anything, but I want to will able to pull any images from repository. So if I do, I'll just run Docker pull image name. What is the image name you want to pull? So I'll say, okay, can you pull me one Ubuntu images? So when I hit enter, it will try to pull. First it will try to check Ubuntu, because I did not mention any version, so it will check latest version, and it's try to pull that images, which is try to pull. But this is just only download images. That image will be available local machine, right? Which is available local machine. So if you see here Docker images, now I can see a Docker images which is running right now, and the size is image calls only for MB, guys, only MB. That is what I told you yesterday. If you deploy any application Ubuntu machine, Ubuntu required a GB, but here is only a matter of MB only, right? Those things you can, this is like lightweight the container images. So if somebody asks us, what is the Docker images? What does means images? So image is nothing but all information about your application. Image has a library, image has a dependency, and image has the configuration file which user will be created. What are the prerequisite for bring up your application? All the informations are available under images. You just need to be bring up your application. What the point? And
Saurabh,
somebody asked, yes.
Saurabh here. I just have a query. So when you pull this image, any image you are pulling, let's say you pull now Docker pull Ubuntu. So this
Okay.
Ubuntu what was get downloaded to the local repository. Does it contain the required library files? If say later I
Everything.
want to install the MongoDB or something, then those library files will be utilized, right?
No. Those things, see, Ubuntu will give you only the base operating system. Okay.
Okay.
Later on, if you wanted to do any kind of, suppose a customer will say, hey, I need one CentOS platform, CentOS images, which will have the Java images would be there. Those images will be there. But by default, those are not available in the container. What you need to do, you need to create a Docker file as for the customer. So this is a customer, he'll say, okay, Santosh, what can you give me one images which has already installed Java, install all the Python package, everything will be there. I need only that images. Then you need to download a plain Docker images. Then you have to build all the packages you need to install. That means whenever bring up my Ubuntu, automatically all the library which is required, all the library you can automatically it will download it. So those things you have to do manually. Okay.
So are you going to show us that how we can do that?
Yeah. That I will show you. Okay.
So in that case, I think only one container is created, right? Only hello world.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Docker, yeah. So
Hello
Ubuntu,
world only created.
okay,
Ubuntu I just
one,
downloaded, but which is not running right now. Yes or no? I just pull
yes,
that
right.
images right now. Now somebody say, okay, can I able to run these images? Can you start this container? How to start a Ubuntu container? Then what I'll do, as you know that you have to use a run command. Yes or no? Run.
Yes,
I'll
right.
say name of image. So I'll say Ubuntu. Yes or no? And when you hit enter, what exactly it will do? When you hit and just I'll run enter over here.
It
So
will create the container.
it will create a container. Yes or no? Now if you run Docker, have you noticed guys, when you run Docker on Ubuntu, he did not pull images, right? Because
Yeah,
image
it's
is
keep
already
on local.
present, which is
Yes, right.
already available. So first he will check local. That means any container you want to deploy on your machine, first pull the images, then later on you can start multiple container, you can start it. Yes, and so that which will be very fast. So now if I run ps-a, so now you can see last time someone started one container which is called 34 second, and which is currently also stopped right now, and the name of the container will be, this is the name. That means when you run ps-a command, first it will show the container id, this is the container id. Next it will show the image name. What is the image my image will be Ubuntu. This is the image I have used. And commands is executed, bin bash commands is executed. This will created how long, and what is the status of your container, which is a exited. That means it's already stopped. That means when you run Docker run stop, it just start and stop it right now. Got the point? So now if somebody say, okay, I want
Saurabh,
to, yeah.
yeah, once you download the image, where it will store?
Exactly. So that's those information, if you see Docker info command, if you run, you will see here directory called the var lib docker. Okay, this is the directory where it will store all the Docker images. This is the folder where it will show all the images over here. Got the point?
This one,
This,
Saurabh, I didn't clear that Docker ps-a command. Can you run that again?
okay, I'll tell you.
So on this output, it's showing that this process was started this particular Ubuntu and Hello, and this exited also, right?
Yes, exactly.
So
So
why
what
it is exited?
Docker,
I mean, what is the reason
I'll tell
behind
you,
that?
I'll tell you. So whenever you start a container Docker run, you just mention Docker run, but you did not give any option to that. You did not mention that this should be what exactly he's going to do. He will start and stop, right? But you have to inform Docker run, hey, do not stop. I want to please be there in the container. I want to logging. I want to do my container. Then you have to pass the argument. But if you do Docker run on just image, right, it will just pull and start the container again. It will stop. But you want to say, okay, I want my start my Ubuntu container, and which will say I want to start this container making a sleep command. I'll give, okay, please start this container until will be 100 only. So what exactly it will do? This command will run in the backend 100 second. It'll just see 100 second, right? So again it will problem because this will be running in the background. This is running in the foreground. So what I'll do now, what is the IP address of this machine? 1.50, right? So I'll connect the session SSH. I'll say 192.168.1.150, and I'll just connect with the root user. So I'll just do Red Hat. So now if you just run the command called docker ps command, now you can see one container is running stage, it will stop after 100 seconds. So you have to give all the option. If you're not giving any option, he will start and stop by default docker run command. But there are a lot of argument you need to define. See, still I can say this is still running in the foreground, right? So I cannot execute any command. So this is the problem. Slowly you will learn everything. Don't worry. Now, have you understand this docker ps command? The docker ps command will give you that currently what are the containers running in my machine. So still it's still running because it's about 200 seconds. Once 100 is done, automatically this will be complete. This will be cancelled. Now you can see PS about to finish. Now you can see, guys, this is done. That means I just started my container only for 100 seconds. Once 100 seconds is done, automatically now if I run docker ps command over here, now there is no container. This command only will give you currently how many containers are running on your local machine. But somebody asks you a question, can you, I want to list all. I want to list running container as well as which is already stopped. Then you have to run -a. When you give -a, now you can come to know that somebody started Ubuntu container which is only for 100 seconds, and up to once done the 100 seconds, and this currently is not running, which is already stopped. Anytime you can start again this container. You can use docker start container name, it will start again, the container will be start. But someone say, why I don't want to wait, right? So I'll say here, okay, why not make it in backend? I'll do D over here. So D for what? This command, this container will be start in background. So it will show the container. Now I can run all the commands here. So docker ps command, I can see my container is running right now. So if my container is running, can I able to get into my container? Can I log into my container? How can I log in? I'll just run docker exec and execute -I for interactive, T for terminal. I'll give my container name. So what is my container name? This is my container name. This is my container name here. And I'll say bin bash. I'll say bin bash. See, now I'm into my container. As you know, container is nothing one VM, because you will get the IP address, everything, right? You can see I can log in. Now you can run any commands over here. You can do whatever you want to do. df command I can run. All the commands I can run it on this, because this is Ubuntu machine, Ubuntu box.
Santosh,
But this will be,
can you use also container ID, right? Instead of
yeah,
name
you can
also.
use the container. Yeah, you can use the container ID as well. Okay. Got the point, guys? This is very, see, these are the commands. If you are working with as a container platform, if you are want to manage container platform, these are the frequent commands you will use. Somebody will say, my container is not running, my container is a hanging stage. Then sometime if the file system will be full, then your container will be hanged. Then you have to log into the container and clean some of the space over here. And any commands you wanted to run, and if you want to see, automatically come out because it's 100 is done, right? It's done 100%. Somebody say, why you are doing don't give sleep command. I want to run this should be up and running all the time. I don't want to stop. Then what you need to do, you just, while you're starting your container, let me start my Ubuntu container. Instead of sleep, right, I'll just hit enter this command. So this will start your container in the background. Now you, anytime, there will not time limit. Now if you run docker ps command, you can see now, oh, this is running in the backend. Okay, this is running in the backend. Okay, this will be running and stop. You have to give a time, always you have to give a time. Okay, that's fine. So slowly we'll jump to now. What I'll do, I'll start my container with 1000 second. Hit enter.
Let's suppose if I need to connect the container, right, using putty session, right? Because let's suppose container I created for any users, then how can they will log in?
Okay, say when you run this ps command, at a time one user only can log into your container. That means they can get inside, because these are the container. Okay, these are the one VM. So that end user, your application is running over here. That means end user, they will get one URL to connect your box. So you have some questions. Example, I'll give you that answer to you. Okay. I just wanted to show you one more thing over here. PS is running fine now. Now if you run
Correct.
so if there is a command, if you run help command, you will see all the options over here. See, you will see here now, for example, one container is already running stage right now. You wanted to change the host name. You change the name over here, and by default, have you see, guys, whenever you start any container, you're getting a random name. You will see here the random name. You didn't assign this name, right? You didn't mention this name. You're getting some name, will be random name. You can also change that one. Suppose I want to change my I want to rename my container. How to do that? So I'll just run docker, the command called rename. First you have to give a new name, old name. My old name will be, this is my old name. Then I'll say this machine name is called Ubuntu. So now if you run docker ps command, you can see that the name got changed. Got the point? So you can follow all the R&D, you can do all the options you can do over here, right? All the options you can do. So there is a command called inspect. This will give you like some information about your running container. Now for example, I just wanted to run this command. Now we'll say docker inspect, say this, and I'll give the container name. So my container name is Ubuntu. I'll say Ubuntu over here. Hit enter. So when you run hit enter, you will see the IP address of your container. Okay, and also you will see the gateway of your container, and you will see all the information about your container. How many file systems are there, how much CPU, memory, everything it's showing, guys. All the information you can see over here. Got the point? It's very simple.
So, Saurabh, one thing. So, let's say you are starting a container. Let's say I'm starting MongoDB or something. You are starting, okay, as a container. So, as you said that at a given point of time, only one user can log into that container.
Oh, see, how do you log in? How you are planning to log in? You just do Docker IT only, right?
See, let's say when you inspect, you are getting the IP address. Those IP address should be given to the user, right? The user should log into
Yes.
that container
Yes.
through IP address. And from
Exactly. So
where we can change the parameters. I just want to restrict, let's say 20 users can log into that VM or that container, not more than that.
okay, see, usually they will connect to your container using curl command. Okay, using curl command. Suppose you have access Nginx application. How the customer is going to access Nginx? They will do connecting the URL. They don't use Docker execute those command, right? They will get the IP address. They will use curl command. Curl IP address, or they will use a browser. They'll hit the IP address. When you hit that IP, the request will go to your container, right? So now the question is, what if when 20 user will hit that URL, then might be if your container will capability has only 10 user can access. If 20 mean, then your container will be restart. Then you need a one more container. You got the point? Right?
Yeah.
So you can execute this command when I say the running a container exec. Who can these run this command? These are the only for admin guys, only admin. Why I have to execute? Because sometime file system will full, sometime customer will say, can you copy this file, can you do that one? Then you can do that, because when you customer deploy it, then the end user they can access through IP address, so that they will hit that URL
So,
always.
so when the limit adjusted, it will do the auto scaling or we have to do it manually?
No, that option will not available Docker, that you have to do manually. But to your question, for Kubernetes will taking care automatically those things, that you have to configure one HVA, which is called horizontal port autoscaler. Automatically you can give option, you give the option, say that okay, whenever this container reach 20% or 30%, then please create one more container, so automatically. But those things will not available Docker, right? And now
Oh.
the question is what you have a created multiple container. Now here, who is responsible for monitoring your container? If your container goes down, or if container is restarted, or right here you have to do manually, everything you have to do manually. Yes or no? Now question is, what you have a two machine, this is a box and here is one box. You have installed Docker here also, and there is a one application running Nginx appli. For example, I'll create one more diagram over here. So you have a two box now. In this box also you have installed a Docker. In this machine also you have installed Docker, and you created small container also. You created small container as well, right? And here also one container is running. Will they communicate? Can I happening? These guys can access. Can this communicate? If they wanted to connect from here to here. If they want to connect from here, right? Is it possible? You cannot do.
Logically, it is possible.
Yeah, but
See,
you can't.
if I am running two different container, I can assign two different IPs. I mean, the IP will be different, right?
Yes.
And if
So
there is a
you exactly. So there is some guys is required, who somebody is required who can manage this my two worker node. Who is helping me if this port goes down? Automatically, someone should be bring up one more port. Some suppose, for example, customer hit will be more on this port. If this port is 90 percentage, automatically someone should be there to bring up another new container, right? So that is what, guys, to managing your container, large container platform, you need a orchestration platform, which will come after 2 days class. You will learn Kubernetes, which Kubernetes will handle, which will give you guys lot of automation to you. You don't need to do manually. Those will taken care by Kubernetes as well. Got the point? So now,
So let's suppose if we run any container, right? Download the container always should be the running shed mode, right? So what is the command
yes.
we have to run in the background itself every times?
You have to use -d you can use, which will run in the background. I'll tell you that one. Okay, there is another way to start your container as well. Now question is here right now. Somebody will say, customer will asking, okay, can you please help me to deploy Nginx application, right? So how do I deploy Nginx application? I want to creating and running Docker container from Docker images, which will use Nginx. So first I'll say, when I run Docker pull Nginx, this will it will pull images. First I'll pull. So you don't need to pull, but when you run Docker run command, the run Nginx, which will pull the images and start the container. I'll say when you start a Nginx container, I will say -i interactive tfield terminal and run it -backend mode -d and Nginx pod. So first when I execute, first I'll say Nginx image is not available locally, and he'll try to pull that images from internet, make available and bring up your application.
Saurav, when you run this Docker run Nginx, how it connects with Docker Hub to pull this image? Can you tell that?
See, by default, you each machine has internet access is available. Okay, when you install a Docker, by default your machine will talk to dockerhub.com publicly, which is available. That is a default link. But as an industry, when you run this command, it will pull that images from internal registry, which you can say private registry. So those information you can declare under sysconfig, or you can, it is a Docker. This is Ubuntu box. There is a configuration file there.
So it basically the same as the repository we are creating on
Exactly.
stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah. So by default, when you install a Docker image, by default you have access to pull images from Docker, which is a publicly anybody can pull images. But if there is a no internet is not available, then you cannot pull the images. Then the industry industry they'll not go for, because you can see your customer project, customer worker node does not have internet. Then in that case, you need to configure a private registry. Okay, so you just need to create one registry and just inform to your Docker, please use this path to pull that images, so that those things we will see that in the Kubernetes classes, so that it will pull images in internal registry instead of internet. Now okay, did I run this command? Okay, I run this command. Now if I run docker ps command ps, so I can see my Nginx pod is running stage right now. Nginx is running now, and this will not stop until you need to stop. When you run this command interactive mode with backend, right, this will open running always until you stop, then it will stop, or else it will not stop your container as well. Now what I can do right now, if I do docker inspect and image name, or I can use container ID as well. When I hit enter, I can see all the IP address, guys. Now if I use this IP call command, call -kv, if I just do http:// the IP address of your Nginx, then you should get a Nginx port. Are you getting? Thank you for using for Nginx. Welcome to Nginx. So customer will access only the IP address to hit your container. That means whenever I'm hit, right, I will get that web server. That web server I will get. But if 100 requests will come to my container, my one single port may not have a images, because they does not have a CPU memory more. If 200 guys want to access my container, might be my container will be restart by might be my container will be stopped, right, or my container will be down. So that is time why you, so what is the solution? You need to create a multiple instance of the same application. Got the point?
Sort of one thing, this IP, what was it is getting
Getting
there? Is it the persistent across the container down and up?
there is one more question again. Yes. So by default, whenever you launch an instance, when you create a in Docker instance, Docker will assign the IP to each container. But the problem is, if my container is a restart or if my container is a stop, you may get different IP address. Then there is a problem again. Lot of issue will get. Then customer will raise a question, or hey, whichever IP you gave today is working fine, but tomorrow it's not working. Then you'll say, okay, then I will check. Then automatically my container IP got changed. Then who will responsible for that one? The next will become a service will be there. So those are the lot of problem if you directly launch a container, right? So to assign one static IP to your application, there will be one concept called service. The service will assign the static IP to your each container. Clear?
Okay, so that service will be defined on the Docker based machine, right?
Yes. Okay.
And what about that name, what you modified from the old name to new name? Is that also persistent across the container up and down? I mean, container got rebooted or something?
Yes, rebooter again, it will start with same name only. That will be may
Okay.
not be changed. Okay. But the problem is here, whenever I start, I can see the random name. Can I give some specific name to my container, or or else what I'll do, I want to kill this container, I want to stop this container, or I want to the restart this container. Then what I'll do, guys? So for that, what I'll do, I'll just use here Docker, and I want to kill, so I'll use a kill command and give, suppose I want to kill Ubuntu, or I'll kill this one, or I'll kill this. When you hit enter, you will see the container is killed, guys. Now if you run docker ps command, now you can see you have only one Ubuntu machine. Got the point? Because the container is right now kill. Clear? Now what I'll do, when I run docker nginx, so here I will give -f name. I'll give a specific name. I'll say application name will nginx. This command will be to start a container with specific name. So now if you run docker ps command, ps-a, so what exactly is it did here? He is started and stop again, because which container you got that image? Okay, you're getting the same container ID. Okay, that is fine. Let me see the different one. So what I'll do, I'll just kill here which container is available right way. So you don't have anything right now, because Ubuntu machine also got the stuff right away right now. Now the next thing is
I have one question. Suppose if I have installed Nginx and if I have modified the configuration and I want to save that configuration.
Okay, you want to modify, you can use that things you have to save in with image only. Docker save image will be there, which will save the currently, and then you have to rebuild. See, whenever you edit the content, how will you edit? So editing those things will be not available and flexible in Docker environment. So you need orchestration, which will to the Kubernetes will give you like you whenever you edit your container, you can take the backup, or you can restore your container, you can roll back, you can do undo. Those things facility will be available. Everything which you are expecting, everything will be there in the Kubernetes K only.
So what do you mean that the configurations can be done on the Kubernetes?
Yes.
Okay,
so same thing, guys. If you wanted to do a start Docker, suppose I want to start CentOS box also. So CentOS box also same thing you can do. So I'll say CentOS IT, and I'll just do here -d and CentOS machine. So this will be download as CentOS images, which is not there in local machines, and it will try to pull that images from registry.
Sir, one more question. So when you have container, we cannot access from the outside like SSH, right? Only
You
through curl
can't do
only we
that.
have to access.
Yeah, so curl command you can use, and if you want to access your container from outside, then you have to require that those facility will be not available in the Docker. You can do that one as well. You have to do Docker port forwarding. So if you have to forward a port, then you can use that IP from outside. You can do that as well. Now here you can see I have started my container
Sorry,
Docker.
what is the command? Docker port.
Docker port hyphen forward. Port forward.
Okay.
Can be access your application from outside the world. But if you wanted to do in Kubernetes environment, because you can't use the local IP, right? You need some URL. So that will give you, Kubernetes has a concept called node port, then load balancer, egress IP, ingress, those things will be there. Those things we will see in the Kubernetes class.
Yeah, okay.
Okay guys, so what is my questions over here right now? So when I planning to do here Docker container, so I can see my one CentOS container is running. Now if I wanted to get inside my container, so then I already told you, so to do this one you have to do Docker exec -it, then your container name. So your container name is, this is my container name. You can give your container name over here, then you can go for bin bash, right? So you can get into your CentOS machine, get logging to your container. This will be the admin guys will use, okay? But the customer, they wanted to do, mean they can connect through IP address as well. So I can see here any commands I can execute, right? So if I run anything, or if you want to install anything, packages also, you can do yum install. I want to install vim. So it will try to install the package inside your container, yes or no? And when you start a Ubuntu machine, if you want to install or you want to do set up something, right? You can use apt install the package name, because this is the machine. You can say this is the VM. You can do install everything once your container is ready state.
In the what was the storage part? Storage, it will take your local Docker,
Exactly.
right?
Storage is, it will take you your local Docker. So
And
this
let's
when you run.
suppose, okay, let's suppose I started the CentOS, right? I installed couple of file system, couple of files. My one root file system, any file system, right, got full. Then how can you create that container file system?
Okay, so as a industry, whenever you install a Docker,
Yeah.
you have to give the storage will be separate storage to your Docker. So in my case, when I do exit my machine, if I run df-h, df-h, so I can see here var lib Docker is which is mounted, and what is the size over here? 217 GB. That means as the industry, they will go for different file. This file system will be as external file system. So, and this will be enabled through LV or like a PV, so VG, right? If it's a VG, anytime you can increase that file system. Getting my point? So that
Yeah, it
steps.
means the CentOS, I can create the separate mount point, right?
Yeah, separate mount. You
For
have to
container?
do the separate mount. Okay.
Yes.
That steps I will give you while you configure a Kubernetes cluster. Okay.
Okay.
Because Kubernetes cluster, you are going to deploy a multiple container, right? And your container will be stored in specific file system. Now you will go for 500 GB. In future, your container is full, and then might be required to increase a Docker storage files. That is your admin job. Kubernetes admin job will be, sometimes they'll say containers is not creating due to does not have a file system, then what do you need to do? Either you need to clean the images, because it's showing 2 GB. Why it's 2 GB it's showing? But if I do Docker image Docker PS, I have only one container. Do you think this one container is using 2 GB? No, right? There are too many containers which is already running and which already there in vacancy. There are many containers are there, and each these containers are using a space. Then unwanted container you need to clean. You have to clean those images. When you clean those images, this free space will be also decrease. Got the point? Okay, so fair enough, guys. So if I just Docker PS, I can see my containers running, and if I wanted to do Docker exec command, I'll say Docker exec. My container name will be, this is my container name, and I want to I don't want to run a bash shell. I just run what is uname -a. So this command will execute, but you're not going to log without logging to the container. How to run a command inside the container? See, I am in my terminal as well, but this command execute this container, get the output. But if you want to do multiple commands you want to run, then suppose I want to go inside, then I told you the command you have to use bin bash commands you should use, right? And here you have to use -it command, which will go inside the container. You can run it. That is, you can run all the commands, all the packages, everything you can do it.
Saurabh, Vishwajit here, one question. So let's say I am logging to that, I launched that container, but user are saying they are not able to log into that particular VM. Okay, so might be your file system is get full or something. So where the logs will be generated, from where I can verify that you, okay, that VM have the file system problem or some other issues because of which user are not able to log into that particular VM.
See, usually the file system will full when you log into this, right? See, these are the your OS file system, which is not related to any application. Okay, but there is a, each application has required one storage. Separate storage will be required. If that storage pre-space gone, right, or if multiple guys hit my application and my container is the stop state, pause state, is not able to running, right? Those things you have to do troubleshoot. Those things how will I do? How somebody will say, raise a question, hey, I'm not able to, my container is not running, I cannot do. Then you have to run Docker log command, log and container name. So you will see all the logs, Docker logs. So there is no logs over here, right? If you do logs -f continuously, if any logs, you can see the logs, because this is the CentOS machine, doesn't have any application, right? It just bring up only the operating system, and you can see these are the log to troubleshoot. If anything problem, customer will say, see, that is also sometime application endpoint is not reaching, or sometime your application is full, file system is full. Sometime you will see whichever utilization, that means application users is high, right? So those things you can verify it from there for troubleshooting purpose.
Okay, so another thing is that let's say there are many container is running. Okay, so is it possible that I can segregate the storage to each container so that when they boot up, they will take that particular path to boot up?
No. So you are not going to do that one. So the container, the best machine, that Docker storage will give you that one, so that you can use those storage to bring. And one point over here, your email containers are lightweight, which will use only MB only. Those things you don't need to worry about, because that's whichever storage we are using, that is NAS storage, NFS storages, NAS storage, which will be high performance will be there. So those things you don't worry, that will be taken care by storage team. And you have to get high level storage so that your application bring up. And I told you the container is lightweight, which will bring up your container within second, within, it will take some 10 seconds to bring up your application.
But
somebody
in
will
that
say,
case,
yeah.
in that case, so for different applications, how I will allocate the different file system to different container. Let's say one is running
You
Nginx, one is running MongoDB, one is running web service. So they require different file system, right? So
no,
how
they
I will
don't need.
plan it?
They usually they don't need any kind of storage. This will be our infrastructure. That is our the platform. Kubernetes will give you that storage to your container and you're open running. Customer will don't worry about that. Is you have to manage the platform storage. Okay, so all the container which is running on your Kubernetes or Docker, which will give you only the single storage, that is called the var lib Docker. From there you will get one folder will created. From there you will get all the storage. And you're talking about multiple customer, doesn't worry about multiple customer. Even customers should get a storage, right? And you cannot
No, no,
give
I'm
each.
asking about multiple container. Let's say different application, different container have different application. Okay, I customize
Then
that.
it will create a folder. Say if you go to var lib Docker folder, if you go to this directory, if you go to container, you will see one folder. It's creating each folder will get a independent storage. Each folder inside your application data will be stored. Got the point? So you don't need to worry about those things, and you don't need to worry about whether customer will get a storage or not, because what they will do, whenever you start a container, it will go to var lib Docker container directory. It will create one folder. Inside the folder all application data will be there. So if I go to this location here, so you will see all the related files, a host name, mounts. So if you go to the host name, you will see everything will be there. Container name. If you go to here, the result.conf, all the information will be there. So you don't need to worry about those things, because you're getting a separate storage. And when you deploy one customer, one cluster, that cluster can be used multiple customer, right? Then only. And you cannot give one customer will use only one dedicated cluster, right? You deploy one cluster and you can onboarding a multiple application team.
So one more
Hopefully you
question.
got the point.
Yeah, for container, can we allocate the space during the while creating any container? Let's
You
suppose
don't need to
inside
give
that
that.
multiple container are
Yeah.
there, right?
Uh-huh.
No, inside that directory, right? There are multiple container, right? For multiple application, multiple container folder are there, right? Can we
Yes,
specify
yes.
any storage for that specific folder, any folders?
You cannot give the storage to your container. This will taken care by storage, Docker storage, which is already configured. This will be taken
Okay.
care.
So it means it will be shared, right, for all the containers.
All the container will be stored under this, because this is one overlay too, which is a driver which will use, which will giving a high level performance to your platform. Okay, you no need to give this container should give, I want to give a 10 GB, 20 GB, 30 GB. You can't give, because this is lightweight application which will give a MB, and those will have the capability. I have a storage. So in your industry, sometime this Docker storage will be in our project. If I one worker node has a 500 GB, 1 TB, based on that the customer requirement, we will increase our file system. Okay, so sometime you will see that I wanted to check each container how much CPU memory utilizations are using. I want to check active resource uses by each container. So if I just run docker stats command, so this will give you, see, you can see here this container using CPU memory, we see 7 MB, only 7 MB, only. Even this container is not using more than 1% of memory, right? And how much? The 16 MB only they are using storage. Got the point? So you will see all the details about your container, and sometime you will see this container will be 90% will be used. Then you will see 90% mean you need to create one more container, so that two, if you have a two instance, that means your traffic will divert to both the container. Hopefully you got the point. Docker stats command.
Saurabh,
Now
if I have multiple containers, if it is under the cluster only, the load will bifurcate, right?
Yeah. So now guys, now you have multiple container, everything is there, but the problem is what this is the single node. So if this node, one node is failed, what will happen? Suppose I in this node I have deploy multiple application. What will happen if this node goes down? Then all my container will be went down, right? So that is what you need another worker node. You have deploy over here also. So I will tell whenever this goes down, please bring up all my application under this node. But that I cannot do through Docker. Then you need orchestration tool. So it's a Kubernetes, we can call K8s. With these guys will give you all the features which you are not getting in Docker platform, right? These guys will say, if this worker node, you no need to worry, I have another node, you can access, these guys can access under this node as well. So these are the things will be K8 Kubernetes will give you the features to you.
For orchestration, can you use only Kubernetes, or we have the different tool as well, right? The Docker Swarm as well, right?
See, Docker Swarm you can use, but as an industry enterprise, that is not enterprise orchestration.
Yeah.
And Docker Swarm you can use for only for your classroom, your only for learning environment, because Docker Swarm is very easy to set up. But I cannot make a guarantee that your application will be available 24/7, right? Because the setup is easy, but the cluster is not healthy. Not healthy in the sense means what? If you wanted to change any application version, you want to do migrating, or you want to do Swarm, Docker Swarm architecture, upgrade, patching, whatever you want to do, it's required. All downtime is required. But as a right now in the market, Kubernetes is one of the platform which will give you guarantee that once you deploy application the Kubernetes, your application will be highly available, right? And after deploy Kubernetes cluster, if you want to upgrade, patching, changing, whatever you want to do, everything will be online. There will be no downtime. So those things will be available. The lot of things, the advantages will be available, which we will going to discuss in the Kubernetes class.
Okay, sir. One more thing. What about you are talking about the storage? It will be shared, right? What about the CPU and the memory for container?
See, these are the CPU memory as well. Also shared. This is shared cluster, right? The shared cluster means one cluster can use multiple team, right? So you suppose if CPU memory is is a full, then you need to add one more node, right? And you can increase the capacity. Those things will be day-to-day activity. So if that is what the job of Kubernetes admin. So when I start a Kubernetes admin, you will come to know what is the primary job of a Kubernetes admin, guys. Obviously, if resource is full, then you have to add a new VM. How to add, how to remove, those things you can learn.
Sorry, one more question. Last time you have given a df-h.
Come again?
It is taking a df-h. It is giving var lib docker having a 250 GB. So by default, how the 250 GB is came to the? Is there any?
250, I told you, whenever container you are creating, you're getting here 250 GB. If I run it here, are you getting this here?
Yeah.
This is the storage you will get it inside your container as well. Okay, that you don't need to worry. Even customer also don't need to worry where my storage, right? That will be giving by your platform only.
Could you share the install steps before session ends? You updated some commands there.
Come again?
The install steps. Could you share in the chat box?
Yes, that's right. That command.
No, the complete install steps. You add some notes later on today.
Yeah, I will share you those things. Don't worry. After the class, I'll make a document. I'll say to you whichever commands I have execute. I'll make a document. And the meantime also, whenever I'm typing some command, you also try to make a document from yourself also, right? So that you can, because see, I'm just typing, I'm explaining and taking some time to discussing. So try to make a document from your end also. But I will share you. So what I'll do, I will save this save terminal output. That means whatever commands I have typed, everything will be there over here. I'll give it to you directly.
And sir,
Okay,
regarding
guys.
the soft copy of the Kubernetes administration, when are you going to provide us?
That soft copy Kubernetes when
Automatic,
after day after tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'll discuss little about, because we don't want to spend more in Docker. We will go deeply and discuss high level Kubernetes architecture and installation part. Everything we will see on day after tomorrow. So today is 14. 16 we will start Kubernetes, so that we
Okay,
are
and
go to that.
yeah, and one more request, sir. Can you please document all of the required software which we need to install for the complete setup for Docker
For
and
Docker
Kubernetes?
or Kubernetes?
Both.
Docker, I already make a document, no? Here already I mentioned, but in Kubernetes also, I will share you the steps to you, okay?
Please, and please circulate this Docker this documentation, list of documentation.
Definitely, don't worry. So same thing, guys. We will spend another 10 to 15 minutes, so we'll wind up. So same thing, if you want to stop your container, then you will use the Docker PS command. It will say you the container ID. So I can use my container ID to stop the container as well. So I'll stop my container. So when I run stop again, if you wanted to start, then again you can start as well. You can start your container as well. So anytime you can stop and anytime you can start. And sometimes if you feel you wanted to restart, then you can do restart as well. Right? So you can stop your container, you can start your container, you can restart your container. You can use either container ID or you can use with container name, this name as well you can use. Got the point? Now the question is, when I say docker ps command, I have only one container is running, but if I run ps-a, I can see there are multiple containers are available. So I'll say I don't need these images. Will I able to download? I want to download this ID. How will I download? So I'll use a docker rmi or docker rm container ID. So this will be delete permanently, right? So what is saying, you cannot remove running container. So okay, this is a container which is currently running, that's fine. Let me go back to another container, so which is not running stage. I'll say this container. So remove permanently. Now if you run docker ps-a, guys, then that means when you delete this file, right, automatically you will see some release some space. So you will see df-h, you will sorry, df-hp. So you will see some space are, see now it's some space are released right now, right? So you can clean your container. You can clean your container with help of this. How can I clean all? So I can use a docker rm or also I'll just do stop this container. I'll stop this container. So if I stop, then I can kill the container, yes or no? So I'll just do docker rm.
What time will we close? 9 o'clock or just?
Yes, 8:50. Okay.
Okay.
Another 10 minutes.
Okay, but I think we are taking long time. Like, we should
Yes,
also
because
remember, like, what are we covered, we also need to revise, right?
exactly. Because yesterday we waste our 1 hour. That is why I'm just covering yesterday 1 hour today. Okay. Don't worry.
No problem.
So guys, this is continuously, because if I start, I cannot end in between. So if you need any break or because I cannot give you tea break, right? So it should be like direct dinner break only. But tomorrow I'll give in between some kind of time I can give it to you, so that we'll go with very things.
Okay, also from tomorrow, if we can stick to the time, it will be great
Yeah, yeah.
because after
So
8, we got a bit work to do
we
that.
should
Let us
use
claim a standard time, like 6 to 7:15 one phase, and 7:15 to 7:30 break, and 7:30 to
exactly.
8:30 other
We'll
phase.
make it okay. We will
Fine.
make it the timing as for you have to decide when you need 5 minutes break. So we will do that one. Okay, but I don't need break if I start. Okay guys, I can see over here there are many containers which is running and I wanted to clean, so I'll just use rm command which will remove my container. But if you wanted to clean at a time all, how can I clean? So I just run a command called docker ps-a give all. When I run this command, it will give all, right? I want to list only -q, which will give you only the ID, which will give you all the container ID. Then I'll just mention over here docker rm. So I'll just run this command. So this will clean all my container. Now if you run docker ps-a, nothing is running. Got the pin? So if you wanted to do remove, so you can just do follow these things. Okay. So what we discussed today, if I summarize another 2 minutes, we just discussed the different type of installation process, how to install a VM using VDI, and how to install a VM using Vagrant machine. Whichever you guys are comfortable, please spend quality time and start installation. Once you're done your installation and how to install Docker on Ubuntu machine, I already given the steps, follow those steps, and slowly you just how to pull images, how to search images, how to start a container, how to stop a container, how to start container in the backend, how to check the IP address, how to check the version, right? And how to check the CPU memory utilization. So those things, all the everything we have discussed, and you just need to be practice those things. Clear? And if you have any question, you can ask me question tomorrow as well. So I'll just bind off today's class now. Tomorrow we can start
Yeah, Saurabh,
by
can you
6 o'clock.
hear?
Yeah, so hi Saurav.
Yeah, please.
Can you send me this recording video to all of those guys? I mean, someone is recording these videos. So
No, recording is I don't think so is available. I just need to be check.
no, I think someone is recording these sessions.
Recording
Yeah,
is
I'm recording this session, and after the class, I will share with you. Doesn't matter. It's okay.
Who recorded? Could you please mention your name?
No, I think they cannot give a recording. I just need to be check that one. I'll let you know, and I will share you guys all the commands to you, all the commands, whichever commands I have executed step by step. I'll share you. Anything I'm just missing? What time will when?
Here today itself, when tomorrow early morning we can practice.
Not recording to the mic. Okay. Go to the work. I would really appreciate it.
I have a question. Since that the meeting is recorded, why would we not share for the students? I see that we are recording the session, and we are the students. Why can't you can share the document, the recording?
This is Nityanand, manager from Complete Open Source Solution. Yes, I can share you this recording, but only for initial installation classes. We are recording this. It cannot be a everyday activity.
I fully.
Let me complete. I'll give you a chance.
Okay.
We cannot, as per our company policy, we will not record at our end. As I said you from the beginning when the session started, it is you at your end. There are so many tools available. You can record the screen and record the session at your end. There are certain technical challenges when you share. We have faced it, and it is all taken a policy stand that we make sure that whatever classes he has, I'm also listening. whatever dumps he is giving, whatever he is pasting, but make sure you are, yes, for today, because it is installation, you need, definitely I will instruct my, buddy instructor, Mr. Ali, who can share you. But you cannot expect every day for next 40 days, we will share you the recording of the session. Hope I am clear.
Yes,
Today,
sir,
I am
please.
instructing Ali
Yeah.
to share the recording of the session.
Yes, sir. I'm recording, and after I finish the session, I will share with the guy, with the actually others on WhatsApp group.
Only because it is now in installation phase, and there are so many, varieties of, participants are there. We are helping so that you can run and understand.
Sir Nityanand sir, good evening. This is Muktishwar.
Yeah.
Sir, can you please share at least first 3 to 4 classes so that our
What I
setup
am
will
doing,
be on the same page?
sir, that is what I am doing.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. So as long as your class is smooth, it cannot be like, when I stop, you will say, no, more 2 classes. As long as I feel like, yes, these are installations, you need to understand step by step, although he is helping you with the history of the command, what he has used. I'm just observing and listening what he's trying to tell, right? So please be attentive and take the note down, and take your notes. We will help you also in installation, as I said, but it cannot be a 40 session that all back to back will be recorded and said to you. This
Sir,
is
from
our
my end,
policy.
only one request, till the installation. That's it. Khalas. Not
Yeah.
not videos, not for
I will do
videos.
that.
Only till the setup is completed.
I will do that.
Yeah.
We are well aware of it. Beginning on the class, you were clear enough to tell us no recording. However, now you did have some recording sessions. All I'm saying it will be a good for the institute. It will be a good for the teacher as well, so that when students have some kind of visualization, yes, we are doing our own visualization, but this will enhance your institute as well. So that's all it is, and I'm glad that you're doing it. And whatever you can do, it will be good for both ends, both the students, the SER, the institute as well.
Sure. Let me, because I'm not an individual. We are a company, right? It is a company policy. I need to check and come back to you, right? Let me, give me 24 hours. I will come back to you if I'm taking you as a point. If some decision comes from my management, definitely I would like to look forward. And we are not also recording. Recording is for different purpose. What we do, it is for a different purpose, right? It is not for student sharing.
No
Don't
problem.
understand.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
However,
No problem.
I am taking as a point. I will come back to you, but make sure you are making at your own effort. There are so many tools available these days. You can make recording at your end as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I think with this, we are winding up the session today. Yesterday, we had some problem, but I was through this session today, all 3 hours. I would go with all this that, when we are making more than 1 hour, we should give at least a 5 minutes break. I request, participant at around, when we are starting at 6:05, by 7:15 for 5-10 minutes, we should have a small quick break, so that by 7:20 we will recharge till 8:20. So today we extended without prior permission. I know that because we lost some 40 minutes yesterday. So I'm taking this particular thing, and I'm sorry, but we did what we have scheduled in these 2 days. We could complete. Hope it has not brought any inconvenience, and if it caused, I am deeply regretted. Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, Saurabh, once everybody leaves, I just have a simple query which need to be answered.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, can you just show me the network configuration of any Vagrant or any Ubuntu server?
Okay, fine, sure. So you just go to the config file, net plan this config file, and just need to assign this.
Yeah, can you hang on for a sec, because whatever you have pasted, there is an indentation issue. So if I copy paste the same thing, it doesn't work at all. Yeah.
Yes, I just pasted in chat box itself. Just follow
Yeah.
the steps. Just give an interface over here, and here start with the DSCP, and below D start with address, gateway, name server. This.
Yeah. So can you just let me know where did you get this name server address?
Yeah, this name server you can give this will allow. This is internet, right? Internet is enabled, so by default 888 is a Google DNS server.
Okay, and how about 8844 is also a Google
Same, both.
DNS?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Google
okay.
DNS server. Yeah. So you can use both should be same, then it should work.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question, sir. If I forgot to switch on the Ethernet button, means Ethernet networking button while installing the VM, then what is the Unix command to activate it from the command prompt?
You forget to enable interface.
Ethernet button, yes, in the Ethernet while doing the minimal installation. Suppose if I forget the
That's fine. Then
Ethernet button to switch on.
later on you shut down your machine. Go to network and select a bridge or host only adapter.
No, sir, it's not
Anything
coming. It's not coming, sir. It's not coming. I tried several times. I means instead of reinstalling the VM, is there any Unix command to activate it from the command prompt?
Are you using
Hello.
CentOS?
Yes, CentOS.
Then you can use ifop command, no? Ifop.
Ifop, okay.
Ifop interface name.
Can you please type the complete command, sir?
Yeah, I just ping this command. Say ifop
Actually,
interface 0.
actually, I also had this problem, but I could solve it by one more way. Like under that bridge adapter and the name of the adapter, you have one more thing that is advanced. You need to click on that, and then you will have something like Prometheus mode. In that you have to check.
No, it's not working because I tried with the NAT option because NAT is the advanced option for the Windows 10. So NAT option should work there, but unfortunately I forgot to give this. So if you can tell me the command, that will be a great help for me.
I just ping that command. You just try that ifop your interface name. If you run if config, I just ping in chat box.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So please try to do practice and R&D, and if you guys are facing any kind of issues, so we will also, there is instructor will be the Ali, which you can directly reach out to Ali so that he can guide you and share you the steps. And anyhow, that as manager discuss, you write this installation recording, he can share you. Definitely, I will say Ali will share you this recording video to you. And if you guys any kind of installation issue,
And
please watch those video and start
how will
installation.
reach out to Ali? Ali, is it under the WhatsApp group or how it is?
Yeah, he's in WhatsApp group, and once our done the task, he will share you those details with you. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you guys. Thanks all of you. Good night.
Saurav, one quick question. Which one do you recommend for the Dockers? Is it only the background version, or do you recommend Ubuntu
You can
image
go for
version?
better. You can go for background version, so you don't need to spend more time, right? So this background will bring up very quickly. Then you can
Right.
practice all the Docker commands over there.
So all the Unix command is also available in background?
Everything, yes, everything will be available.
Sir,
Okay,
and this
because it is
background,
only 300 MB, right? Because it is only 300 MB, right? Yeah, so I just wanted
Everything
to
will be there.
know.
You don't worry. All the prerequisite
Yeah.
commands, everything will be there. So you can follow this vagrant VM as well, and you can also go for that. Whichever you comfortable, you can follow that one.
So how many
and sir,
machines do we need to? Sorry, just the last question.
Okay, you
How
just
many
need only
machines?
one VM. One is enough for Docker, but when you go for the Kubernetes, you require a 3 VM.
Yeah, so can you, it's like, 3 VMs, that means one master server and 2 Dockers, or how does it?
One master and 2 worker node.
2 worker nodes. So
You can
that
say 2
worker
Docker.
node
Yeah,
should
you can
have
say 2
the
Docker.
Docker.
Exactly.
So both the worker nodes would be a Docker, and what will be the master node?
Master will be which will be, you install a Kubernetes cluster. Those will be,
Oh, okay.
don't worry right now, because in our Kubernetes class I will explain you each and everything. Okay.
Okay, all right. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay, which
Saurav.
parameter enable Anil? I already said 2 things you have to do, which will be here. You have to enable these 2 things. Anil, you can see that one chat box. Sorry guys, I am unable to give the chat reply on time because yes,
Yeah,
it's
Mr.
nothing.
Saurav, I have my last question with me. Can I ask you, Mr. Saurav?
Yeah.
See, I have 4 virtual machines on VMware Player, not on the virtual box. Okay. And my operating system is Windows 10. So can I do all this Vagrant setup, Kubernetes setup, and Docker setup without any problem on the VMware Players VMs also?
You can do, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. So guys,
Saurav,
exactly.
one second. I have exactly configured the network configuration in the background, but when I rebooted, it is not coming up. It is not showing any IP.
See now, Prashant, or what you need to do, you just bring up your Vagrant machine. Okay. Don't assign
No, I
any
have
IP address.
exited.
Just
Yeah, but I tried to assign that IP address, but the only thing is that when I reboot it, it is not coming up
okay.
with the
Have
static one.
you run this netup apply command?
Okay, so what is that command? Sorry, what is it?
The command. Have you run this net plan apply?
Oh, one second. Net plan apply. Even after the reboot, also we need to hit that command.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Try
So
that,
it is
or
giving
else
me
it
an
will
error. Okay. Got
giving you
it.
error.
Yeah.
No problem.
So can you send that file, whatever you have typed in that file, right?
Yeah. I will share you, because once done this meeting, I'll just quickly update the commands, everything, and I'll share you after 10 to 15 minutes. I'll share you those details in WhatsApp.
Sure. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much, all of you. I will see you tomorrow, same time around by 6 o'clock. We will start, and we will wind up 8:30. So 6 to 8:30 will be particularly. We will 8:30 will wind up. Okay.
Thank you all.
Okay, Saurav. Good night, Saurav. Good
Thank you.
night.
Good night. Bye bye.
Good night,
Thanks,
Nityanand.
Saurabh. Good night. Thanks, Nityanand.